Good morning. Hello. Good morning, all of you. Today we will be discussing about the summary of the unit first that is taught by Hardik sir, Sikha ma'am, and Rohit sir. So, talking about the brief summary of unit one, we have discussed about introduction of pharmacovigilance. So basically, pharmacovigilance is the science and activities that related with the detection, assessment, understanding, prevention of adverse effect or any other drug-related problems. Basically, the main aim of pharmacovigilance is to improve the patient safety and ensure effective use of medicine. Talking about the scope, its scope includes monitoring of adverse drug reaction, drug interaction, and medication errors. Pharmacovigilance also helps in regulatory authorities take decisions about drug safeties. Talking about the history and evolution of pharmacovigilance, in in early 1960s, it was observed in European states that some of the doctors advised a pregnant woman of a thalidomide drug, and that drug actually causes an adverse effect in birth defects that leads to the global drug monitoring system. So, in this way, a brief evaluation of pharmacovigilance takes place in early 1961. After this incident, strict drug regulation and safety monitoring were introduced worldwide. That is basically in 1968, WHO, that is World Health Organization, programmed for international drug monitoring was stabilized, and today pharmacovigilance system operate globally to ensure drug safety. Talking about the drug development phase and role of pharmacovigilance, as we all know, drug development is most important, and to keep the vigilance during the time of drug development is a major criteria that to be followed, and pharmacovigilance plays a major role in that. Talking about the drug development begins with preclinical trial studies in laboratories and animals. There are various phases of pharmacovigilance that is in drug development. That phases are phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. Talking about phase 1, basically in phase 1 we look for a safety and dosage studies in healthy volunteers. Talking about phase 2, the evaluation of drug efficacy and the side effect is basically observed in the patients. Phase 3 indicates large scale trial to confirm effectiveness and monitor adverse reaction, while as the phase 4 is post marketing surveillance after drug approval. This is a major importance of pharmacovigilance in identifying rare and long term adverse effect. Now, clinical trial and safety and post marketing safety. Serious adverse event, suspected unexpected serious adverse reaction, events of special interest are closely monitored during trials. Post marketing surveillance helps to detect ADR, that is adverse drug reaction, not seen during clinical trials. Apart from this, the drug development phase and the role of pharmacovigilance. What are the major role of pharmacovigilance? Basically, the major role of pharmacovigilance in drug development begins with preclinical studies in laboratory and animals. Phase 1, that is safety and dosage studies in healthy volunteer. Talking about the phase 2, the entire evaluation of drug, that is in efficacy and the side effects in the patient. Phase 3 is the large scale trial to confirm effectiveness and monitor adverse reaction. And the phase 4, that is post marketing surveillance after drug approval. Pharmacovigilance program in India worldwide. WHO, that is World Health Organization, program for international drug monitoring coordinates global drug safety monitoring, whereas pharmacovigilance program also initiates monitoring of ADR, that is adverse drug reaction, in various parts of the India. Talking about Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission is the National Coordination Center of Pharmacovigilance. CDSCO regulates drug safety and reporting in India. Talking about the international regulatory agencies, they include US FDA, EMA, MHRA. That's it about the basic summary of unit first, and rest will be assisted by Hardik sir. Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much.
much. Thank you, Vishal sir. So Thank you, Vishal sir. Once again, warm welcome and warm greetings from School of Pharmaceutical Sciences, City University, Ludhiana. We are running a certificate course in pharmacovigilance that is of 15 weeks. In each and every Saturday, there will be the multiple sessions will be conducted and one practical workshop will be conducted. On the behalf of City University, I Hardik Kumar, a very warm welcome to all of you. I request dear participants that the 75% attendance criteria is mandatory. Small quizzes will be provided in between the sessions. Uh, as you know that we have completed the first unit, so we are going to start with our next unit and next topic, that is the ICH GCP guidelines. Before that, I would like to tell you that soon we will conduct the one assessment, in between assessment from the Google link that will be provided in your WhatsApp group. So I request everybody to please do that assignment as soon as possible. There will be the limited time for doing the assignment. The 1 hour is only provided for you. The time will be shared soon with you. I would like to request Dr. Shikha to please share the screen. Yes, Dr. Shikha, this is visible. So we would like to talk about the ICH GCP guidelines. What is GCP? GCP is a good clinical practices in which we have to know about the guidelines, how to diagnose a disease, how to give a treatment to a disease. Then, if we talk about the sign and symptoms, everybody is having a different physiology according to the body structures. The different physiologies is having a different treatments. For example, I'm taking a two persons. They are both the best friends, but they are having different physiologies. If one is ill, the second is having also illness, but their illness is of different types. So in this, we will study about the ethical committees, institutional review board, ethical guidelines for biomedical research and human participant, schedule Y ICMR, informed consent form, structure and consent on informed consent process, ethical principles governing informed consent processes. If we talk about the ethical committee is run by the Department of Health and Family Welfare, in which there is an ethic portal in which you can apply. If any institution wants to apply, that is the DHR portal, ethic portal, they can apply for the institutional ethics committee. If a hospital wants to approve the new committee, they can also apply for the ethical approvals. In the ethical committee, it is a committee which provides the clearance to the clinical projects or the doing experiments on the humans. They might be the observational, cross-sectional, comparative studies, or it might be the interventional studies. They all are being approved by the institutional ethics committee. Next, if we talk about the members of the ethical committee, there are various members in the ethical committee. At least 7 members are minimum required for the ethical committee, and the maximum we can go for the 15 members, in which there might be the chairperson, member secretary, and 5 other members. if, if we talk about the committee members, there might be having a ratio of a 50-50 percent from the institute and the 50% of the outer institute. And one more thing, uh, the chairperson might be the from the outer of the institute, and the chairperson must have the qualification like MSc in surgery, MD in surgery, or having experience of the ethical committees and in their own field. It might be any government person or it might be any private hospital person with a having of a minimum 5 years of experience. The second is member secretary. Member secretary might be from the institute, either it might be the like head of a department, not the head of an institution. Head of the institution is not the member of the IEC. Head of the institution can appoint the member secretary, can appoint chairperson, but he might not be the member of a IEC. The member secretary might be having the qualification of M.Pharm pharmacy practice, PhD in pharmacy practice, PhD in pharmacology, or M.Pharm in pharmacology. If we talk about the pharmacy institutions, in medical it might be MSc, MD, or DM. And then the third person is the two clinicians are required. It means the two clinicians, it might be from the any specialization from the hospital, like MD in medicine, MD in neurology, MD in oncology, MD in radiation and urology. These type of qualifications might be having the clinicians. Then is the scientific member. Scientific member is the person who is having a scientific knowledge about the research literatures. If we talk about the person is publishing the research and research ethical procedures, he might be having the full information about the how to conduct a research, how to write a research. Then another person is social scientist. The social scientist is the person who is working as a non-government NGOs, like NGOs, or any blood welfare societies, or any society work he is doing. Then the another person is lay person. Lay person might be the 10th pass, 12th pass, or any village person. The minimum qualification for the lay person is 10th. Then we talk about the review board, institutional review board. This is all about the review boards. And then another other part of that, there might be the sporting staffs in this, like who might be maintaining the record, each and every protocols, or or we can say that the record maintenance, each and every information notices, requirements. If we talk about this ICH GCP guidelines, the previous guidelines was provided by the ICMR in 2017, but the latest guidelines are provided by the in 2019. If we talk about the informed consent form, yes, if we talk about the informed consent form, there are two parts of informed consent form. One is informed consent form and one is informed consent information. It might be having a in information part, it might be having a each and every detail of the work, like title of a work, what are the objectives, what purpose, for what purpose the study is going to be conducted, what inclusion criteria, exclusion criteria, what are the benefits to the society. This might be present in the informed consent information. In informed consent form, that is also mandatory for the person, because we are taking a human participant. We have to take their prior consent first, that he or she is interested in your study, to participate in your study or not. Then we talk about the ICH, that is International Council for Harmonization of Technical Requirement for Pharmaceuticals for Human Use. Dr. Rohit, please, next slide, please. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Rohit. Then International Council for Harmonization for Technical Requirements for Pharmaceuticals for Human Use. Members include regulatory authorities and pharmaceutical industries like US FDA, Europe, Japan, etc. There might be the many members for regulating the ICH guidelines. Next slide, please. Yes, the objectives are harmonize clinical trial standards globally, ensure ethical product and ethical conduct of clinical research, improve quality and reliability of data, facilitate mutual acceptance of clinical trial data by the regulators. अगर हम हिंदी में भी बात करें, जो ICH क्या है, GCP गाइडलाइंस जो कि है हमें एक वे देती हैं कि कैसे हमें क्लिनिकल स्टडीज को कंडक्ट कराना है, कैसे उसमें हमें ऑब्जेक्ट को इनरोल कराना है, कैसे उसमें हमें काम करना है, कहाँ से हमें अप्रूवल लेना है, कहाँ से नहीं लेना, क्या चीज़ें करनी चाहिए और क्या चीज़ें नहीं करनी चाहिए, ये सारी क्या है हमारी एथिकल कंडक्ट है। अगर क्वालिटी एंड रिलायबिलिटी डाटा की हम बात करें तो हमें क्या है कि प्रॉपर क्वालिटी, सेफ्टी और एफिकेसी को देखते हुए हमें इसमें ध्यान रखना पड़ता है। एंड म्यूचुअल एक्सेप्टेंस क्या होता है कि अगर आपकी इच्छा है तो इसमें आप पार्टिसिपेट करिए, अगर आपकी नहीं है तो आप ना करिए, बट देयर मस्ट बी द फॉलो ऑफ रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटीज। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज। नाउ इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस ऑन हार्मोनाइजेशन. The International Conference on Harmonization of Technical Requirements for Registration of Pharmaceuticals for Human Use is a unique project that brings together the regulatory authorities in like Europe, Japan, United States, and except from the pharmaceutical industry in the three regions to discuss scientific and technical aspects of product registration. They always talk about the product registration, that if we are preparing any product, we will go for the first preclinical trials. If the preclinical trial passes, then only we go for the clinical trials. In that there is a term project registration. Product registration is very necessary for that. Next slide, please. What is the aim? AIM was established in 1990, a joint regulatory industry project to improve through harmonization the efficiency of the process for developing and registering new clinical medicinal products in Europe, Japan, and United States. Okay, next slide, please. What are the ICH parties? ICH parties are European Commission. Next is European Federation of Pharmaceutical Industry and Association. Ministry Health, Labor and Welfare in Japan. Japan Pharmaceutical Association, US FDA, Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturing of America, SADISCO, IPC, Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission. These are the all parties. Next slide, please. QSME. What does it mean by QSME? Q means quality, S means safety, and M is multidisciplinary, efficacy and multidisciplinary. What do you mean by the quality? Quality एक हम अगर कहें कि हम कॉमन एग्जांपल है अपने लाइफस्टाइल की भी लें, तो क्या हम क्वालिटी लाइफस्टाइल को जी रहे हैं? ऐसे ही हमारे पास ड्रग के ऊपर होता है कि ड्रग की क्वालिटी कैसी है। क्या उसके पैरामीटर्स है, क्या वो मार्केट आने से पहले ही फेल हो रही है या फिर प्रॉपरली मैन्युफैक्चर हो रही है. देयर आर सम पैरामीटर्स दे विल affect the quality also. Then is safety. Safety can be testing by the genotoxicity testing or the clinical testing or the preclinical testing. Then is efficacy. Efficacy is the dose response studies and the good clinical practices like etc. Then is multidisciplinary. Multidisciplinary means topics which is to be not uniquely into one or categorized like MED, ADR, CTD, MS, M3, ESTRI. For example, we can talk about the multidisciplinary. It might be cover the pharmacovigilance, material vigilance, hemovigilance, some adverse drug reactions companies like World Health Organization is also having a scale for reporting this. Next slide, please. See the quality, safety, efficacy, and multidisciplinary topics. If we talk about the quality, those relating to the chemical and pharmaceutical quality assurance like stability testing, impurity testing, etc. Safety, those relating to the in vitro and in vivo preclinical studies like carcinogenicity testing, genicity, and carcinomic testing. Then there's efficacy testing, those relating to the clinical studies in humans like dose response studies, good clinical practices. Multidisciplinaries, cross cutting topics which do not fit uniquely into one of above categories, but they are having a multiple functions. We can say the post marketing surveillance. If we talk about the all for the difference, first is to be done in the industry, second is to be done in the pharmacology lab, third is to be done in the hospitals, and fourth is the marketing surveillance that is the done by different time periods. We can check about the epidemiologies also. Next slide, please. Then is overview of ICH. That is Q1AR2, which shows the stability testing of new drugs and products. Q1B, photostability testing. Q1C, stability testing of new drugs doses form. Q1D, bracketing and matrixing designs for stability testing of drug substances and drug products. First is Q1AR2, means the Q1AR2 is the labeling of the title stable in which each and every detail is written about the stability testing of new drugs and products. In Q1B code, there is a photosensitivity testing, and in Q1C, there is a stability testing of new dosage forms, and Q1D is the breakaging and mixing designs for stability testing of drug substance and drug products. Next slide, please. Yes, then is Q1E, in which there is a evaluation of stability data. Q2A, definitions and terminologies regarding analytical validation. Q2B is regarding methodology. And Q3A section R2 is about impurities in new drug substances. Q3B R2 is impurities in new drug products. Q3C R3 is impurity guidelines for residual solvents. Next slide, please. I need. Yes. In Q4, there is a pharmacopoeia, and in Q4A, there is a pharmacopoeial harmonization. In Q5A, that is viral safety evaluation. Q5B is a genetic stability, and Q5C is stability of biotechnology products, and Q5D is of cell substrates. Next slide, please. I am talking about only the overviews in which there are multiple sections divided in the ICH. That is a Q6A also, specifications for the test procedures and acceptance criteria. Q6B is specification, test procedures, and acceptance for criteria for biotechnological and biological products. Q7 is GMP, good manufacturing practices. Q8 is pharmaceutical development. Q9 is quality risk management, and Q10 is pharmaceutical quality system. Next is then is safety. in safety. Now I would like to hand over this to Dr. Shikha. She will continue from the next part.
Okay, a very good afternoon to everyone. This side Dr. Shikha. So I'm going to continue from the next part of ICH guidelines, that is safety. So in safety, it starts with SA1, that is a guideline on the need for carcinogenicity studies of pharmaceuticals. So basically, safety deals with the safety of any product. So which whatever product you are using, whatever you are going to administer in your body, the safety of that product is very very essential and very very important. So each of the parameter will tell you ki which type of testing is done in that category. So S1A is the guidelines in which for the carcinogenicity studies of the pharmaceuticals are there. So carcinogenicity deals with the cancerous property. So they will check whether the pharmaceutical or whether the devices which you are using or whether the medications what we are using are carcinogenic or not. They are giving the cancerous effect or not. Next is S1B, that is testing for carcinogenicity of the, one second, carcinogenicity of the pharmaceuticals. This is again the same thing. So next is S1C, that is R2, dose selection for the carcinogenicity studies of pharmaceuticals. Means you will select the dose, which dose can be responsible for the property of for the cancerous property. Means you will select a normal dose, then you will increase the dose, and then you will see which particular dose or which after that after which dose the property of cancerous carcinogenicity can be there in the pharmaceutical. So next is S2R1, guidance on the genotoxicity testing and data. So genotoxicity means the toxicity within the genes. Next is interpretation for the pharmaceuticals intended for human use. Next, S3A, note for the guidance on the toxicokinetics, the assessment of systemic exposure in the toxicity studies. So, toxicity studies in your body, that is called toxicokinetics. So, that in this part, there are the note for the guidance. Next is S3B, pharmacokinetics, that is guidance for repeated dose tissue distribution studies. So, pharmacokinetics deals with what the body is doing to the drug, that is absorption, distribution, metabolism and excretion. So next is S4, duration of chronic toxicity testing in animals, that is rodent and non-rodent toxicity studies testing. Next, S6 is preclinical safety evaluation of biotechnology derived pharmaceuticals. So basically, these are the parameters in which each parameter is consisting, or each parameter is basically a label for that testing. So these are the particular and these are the rules and regulation basically, and the guidelines. Next is S7A, safety for pharmacology studies for human pharmaceuticals. The pharmaceuticals which you are using in the human body. So for that, the safety pharmacology studies is with S7A part. Next is S8, that is immunotoxicity studies for human pharmaceuticals. Next is S9, non-clinical evaluation for anti-cancer pharmaceuticals. So anti-cancer drugs, for that it is the label is S9. Next come with the efficacy. With that, safety is completed. Now the third parameter is efficacy. So efficacy basically is the how your pharmaceutical product is potent. How much therapeutic effect is it showing or not showing? right? So E1 is there, the extent of population exposure to assess clinical safety. So what is the population, what is the sample size, what are the total extent of the population which are involved in your clinical safety trials. Next is E2A, clinical safety data management. E2B R2, that is maintenance of the ICH guidelines on the clinical safety data management, means which the data safety data is being collected from that study, from safety parameter, that is to be organized properly and that is to be maintained properly. Next is E2B R3, revision of the ICH guidelines on the clinical safety data management. Next is data elements for transmission of individual case safety report. Next is E2CR1, clinical safety data management, periodic safety update reports for the marketed drugs. Next is E2E, that is pharmacovigilance planning, how you will take a care of the medication, how you will take a vigilance on the medication which is being released in the market, which is being used for the purpose of treatment. Next is E2F, development safety update report. E3, structure and content of clinical study reports. What should be the structure and what should be the content, means what is a proper criteria to write a clinical study report. It comes under E3. Next is E4, dose response information to support drug registration. Next is E5, that is R1, ethnic factors in the acceptability of foreign clinical data. Means if you're taking a data from any other country, that should be there are parameters that are there are some ethical parameters which you have to keep in mind while you're taking a clinical data from the foreign countries, from any other countries. Next is E6R1, so guidelines for good clinical practices. Good clinical practices means a clinical trial which you are performing. That is called good clinical practices. Next is E7, studies in support of special populations. That is geriatrics. Special population deals with the special category of the patient, like geriatrics, pediatrics, or pregnant women. If you are having any specific category of the patient, that is called special population. So in support of that population, studies are going to be there. So next is the last parameter, that is multidisciplinary guidelines. In this M1, that is MEDRA, it's medical terminology. Next is M2, ESTRI, that is electronic standards for the transfer of regulatory information. Next is M3, that is R2, non-clinical safety studies for the conduct of human clinical trials and marketing authorization for pharmaceuticals. Next is M4, that is CTD, the common technical document. Next come so that was all about the four parameters, that is quality, safety, efficacy and multidisciplinary. Next topic comes, that is ICH GCP guidelines, that is GCP stands for good clinical practices. So next is ICH GCP is an international ethical and scientific quality standards for the design, conduct, recording and reporting of clinical trials involving human subjects. Means if you are performing a clinical trial in which human subjects are involved, human population is involved, so these guidelines are the basically ethical and scientific standard of study in which there will be the design, how you will conduct that practice, how you will record and how you will report that clinical trial. That all comes under ICH GCP, which ensures the right, safety and well-being of the trial participants are protected and that the clinical trial generated are credible and accurate. It means that whatever the trial you are performing, that is safe for the individuals, for the human subjects which are involved, it is safe, and the rights of them, the rights of the uh, participants or the human subjects are properly mentioned, and the safety is ensured, and it is to be told that the clinical trials are generated that is very accurate and it is credible. Okay, so basically for that ICH GCP is there. Means in common, if we say कि if you are doing any kind of research, any kind of clinical trials on the human bodies, so for that, the design, how will you design that project, how will you conduct the recording of that study, the reporting of that clinical trial, it is with ICH GCP. And in this you will ensure the right of the human subjects, the safety for the human subjects, and the well-being of the human subjects which are participating in that ICH GCP. And the last one, कि your research and your this clinical trial is credible and accurate. Next point is ICH GCP is a globally accepted guidelines that provide standard for ethical conduct and scientific quality in clinical trials involving human subjects. So basically ICH GCP is globally accepted, and these are the globally accepted guidelines that provide a standard ethical guidelines. Ki means every each and every point is written ki if you are doing the research, so you have to follow these guidelines if your research is having human subjects. So next one is Declaration of Helsinki. So, Declaration of Helsinki is a set of ethical principles for medical research involving human subject developed by the World Medical Association to protect the rights and safety, dignity, and well-being of the research participants. So basically, this is the rule book. This is the ethical principle book in which there is the each and every aspect, rights, safety, dignity, and well-being of the research participants, human participants which are being involved in the clinical trials. So first is it was first adopted in 1964. Next is it was revised several times. Latest revision was done in 2013. So applies to clinical research and biomedical research. Clinical and biomedical, both on both researches it is applicable. Next is forms the ethical foundation of HCH GCP. Means ICH GCP, the rules and regulations for the human subjects, it is the basic foundation, basic backbone of the ICH GCP, because Declaration of Helsinki contains each and every point, each and every rights and safety, dignity of for the human subjects. Next is main principle. So respect for person and human dignity. Research must be based on sound scientific knowledge. Risk benefit assessment must be favorable. Means you have to see the risk benefit ratio. Means if you're taking a medication, so what is the risk benefit? What is the part of benefit it's causing, and what is the damage? What is the risk the medication is causing? So risk benefit ratio is basically important. Next is informed consent is mandatory. Means if you are taking a human subject, you are involving a participant, so you have to take an informed consent from that human subject that he or she is willing to participate in your clinical trial. Next is protection of vulnerable population. So you have to protect the vulnerable population, means the population which are very prone to have any kind of disease or any kind of problem. Next is independent ethic committee approval. Means it does not need any ethical committee approvals. And the next one is privacy and confidentiality of the subjects. Means you have to take, if you're taking any human subject, you have to take you have to keep it private, you have to take the record confidentially, to not expose their private details. Next is right to withdraw at any time. Means if the human subject wants to leave your clinical trial, you cannot force them to be continue that trial. They can withdraw at any time of the research they want to. Next is importance in pharmacology. So it ensures ethical conduct of drug trials, safeguards the participants during clinical pharmacology studies. Next is basis for ICH, GCP and national regulations. So note, Declaration of Helsinki focuses on ethical principle. ICH-GCP focuses on ethical conduct plus scientific quality and regulatory compliance. Means they're saying it Declaration of Helsinki only focuses on the ethical principles, only focuses that the project or the clinical trial should be ethical, should have proper rights to the human subjects, proper safety should be ensured. But ICH GCP focuses on the ethical conduct, means the research should be conducted ethically plus scientific quality, plus the project which you are doing should have a scientific acknowledgement, scientific value should be there. Next, and the quality and regulatory compliance, means it should work on the rules and regulations which are provided there. Next is principles of ICH GCP. So first one is ethical conduct. Clinical trials should be conducted in accordance with ethical principle originating from the Declaration of Helsinki. Means they're saying that whatever trial you are performing, whatever clinical trial you are doing, it should be conducted in accordance with the ethical principles. कि जो भी उन्होंने ethical principles they are saying you to do, you should have to follow that. Next is risk benefit assessment. Anticipated benefits should justify the risk involved in the trial. Means the participants which are participating, they should be aware of the risk which can be there in the clinical trial. Next is subject rights and safety. The rights, safety, subjects here, the term subject means the volunteer which are participating in your clinical trial. Human subjects mean human volunteers which are participating in your clinical trial. So, subject rights and safety. So, the rights, safety, and well being of the trial subjects are the most important consideration. Next is adequate information. Non-clinical and clinical data should be sufficient to support the proposed trial. Means the trial which you are performing, it should have non-clinical and clinical data that should justify your trial. Okay, the trial is uh, ethical or not. Next is scientific soundness. The trial must be scientifically sound and described in a clear, detailed protocol. Means a clear protocol should be there. It should be uh, scientifically sounded. Next is protocol compliance. The trial should be conducted according to an approved protocol. The protocol which you have made, जो आपने protocol बनाया है, उसी के according आपको trial perform करवाना है. If you have written something, so you have to do it according to that in compliance with your protocol. Next is medical responsibility. Medical care and trial related decisions must be provided by a qualified physician or dentist. So medical care और trial related decisions जो भी वहाँ पे हो रहे हैं, it should be done by the qualified physician or the dentist. So next is qualified personnel. All the individuals involved should be qualified by education, training and experiences. So the particular staff or particular members who are performing the trial, who are involved in the trial, who are doing the trial should be qualified, should be educated, trained, and they should be experienced. Next is informed consent. So, freely given informed consent must be obtained from every subject before participating. Means you have to give them the consent that they are willing or not. So, they have to submit you that informed consent. Okay, they know about the risk benefit ratio. They know कि what are the consequences of being participating in this trial, what is the risk benefit ratio, what is the trial going to be, क्या होने वाला है ट्रायल में, कैसे कंडक्ट होने वाला है, और उसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम्स हो सकती हैं, ये सब उस ह्यूमन सब्जेक्ट को पता होना चाहिए। और वही कंसेंट आप उस ह्यूमन पार्टिसिपेंट से, वॉलेंटियर से लेंगे। नेक्स्ट इज accurate data recording. Trial information should be recorded, handled and stored to allow accurate reporting and verification. Means you will keep the record of each and every data, each and every information. It should be recorded and it should be handled and stored properly to maintain the proper verification record. Next is confidentiality. Confidentiality of subject records must be protected. Investigational product quality. Investigation products should be manufactured, handled and stored according to the GMP. Next is quality system. System with procedures that assure the quality of every aspect of the trial must be implemented. Next is IRB, that is Institutional Review Board. An institutional review board is an independent ethics committee responsible for reviewing, approving, and monitoring research involving human participants to ensure that their rights, safety, dignity, and well being are protected. Means this is a basically a board. So it is an independent ethics committee, so which will review and which will approve and monitor your research work which you are doing with the human subjects. So IRB will basically review, वो चेक करेगी, अप्रूव करेगी एंड देन मॉनिटर करेगी जब आपका ट्रायल चल रहा होगा कि उसमें जो भी ICH GCP गाइडलाइंस हैं या फिर डेक्लेरेशन ऑफ हेल्सिंकी की गाइडलाइंस हैं वो सब आप फॉलो कर रहे हो कि नहीं कर रहे। बेसिकली जो ह्यूमन सब्जेक्ट्स हैं उनको उनके राइट्स मिल रहे हैं कि नहीं मिल रहे, आर दे सेफ और नॉट, डिग्निटी एंड देयर वेल बीइंग आर प्रोटेक्टेड और नॉट। सो नेक्स्ट इज पर्पस ऑफ एन IRB. To ensure the ethical conduct of research, to protect the participants from physical, physiological, social and legal harm. So why IRB is there? Means IRB जो कमिटी है उसकी ज़रूरत हमें क्यों पड़ी? तो these are the points कि they will ensure that ethical conduct of the research is there or not. आप जो research कर रहे हैं वो ethically हो रही है कि नहीं, with the rules and regulations या performing or not. To protect the participants from physical, physiological, social और legal harm. जो भी participants उसमें हैं उनको कोई physical harm, psychological और social या फिर कोई legal harm तो नहीं पहुंच रहा. Next is to ensure informed consent is properly obtained. Sorry. Next is to assess the risk benefit ratio of the study. Next is key functions. So review research protocol before initiation. Means आपका प्रोजेक्ट, आपका क्लिनिकल ट्रायल अभी स्टार्ट नहीं हुआ है, उससे पहले ही आपकी सारे प्रोटोकॉल, सारा रिसर्च स्टडी को वो जो भी आपने प्री प्लान रिसर्च डिज़ाइन बनाया होगा या फिर रिसर्च प्रोटोकॉल बनाया होगा वो सब रिव्यू किया जाता है बाय IRB. Next is approve, require modification and reject research proposals. Means IRB जो होती है, it can approve your project, it can make the changes जो उसको लग रहा है कि इसमें modify करने की ज़रूरत है, इस चीज़ को replace करके हम ये चीज़ add कर सकते हैं. So addition and deletion can be there and they can directly reject your research proposals कि जो उनको ethical नहीं लग रहा है वो उसको directly रिसर्च प्रपोजल को रिजेक्ट कर सकते हैं. नेक्स्ट इज मॉनिटर ऑनगोइंग स्टडीज. मीन्स द ट्रायल्स विच आर ऑनगोइंग, विच इज परफॉर्म्ड, विच इज गोइंग साइड बाय साइड, इट इज मॉनिटर्ड बाय IRB. उसको IRB मॉनिटर करती है. नेक्स्ट इज रिव्यू एडवर्स इवेंट्स. सो इन प्रीवियस क्लासेस वी हैव डन ADRs. So like ADR, there is adverse event also. A group of ADRs basically is called adverse event. सो जितने भी एडीआर होते हैं, एडवर्स ड्रग रिएक्शंस होते हैं, एडवर्स इवेंट्स होते हैं, उसको भी आईआरबी ही रिव्यू करती है। आपके रिसर्च के दौरान जब आप रिसर्च कर रहे हैं उस टाइम पे कोई अगर एडीआर आ रहा है या फिर कोई एडवर्स इवेंट आ रहा है तो उसको भी आईआरबी ही रिव्यू करती है। नेक्स्ट इज इट इंश्योर्स द कॉन्फिडेंशियलिटी एंड डाटा प्रोटेक्शन, मीन्स वट एवर डाटा यू आर कलेक्टिंग, you whatever the personal details you are collecting from the human subject, so IRB will ensure the confidentiality कि the data or the क्या बोलते हैं information should not be leaked. Next is composition of IRB. So in this, first is the chairperson. So this is basically the composition, how IRB is formed. इंस्टीट्यूशनल रिव्यू बोर्ड में कितने मेंबर्स होते हैं, कौन से मेंबर्स होते हैं, वो सब हम अभी पढ़ेंगे. नेक्स्ट इज तो फर्स्ट जो होता है दैट इज द चेयरपर्सन. सो इट कैन बी ही और शी कैन बी फ्रॉम आउटसाइड द इंस्टीट्यूशन, दैट इज प्रेफरेबल. अगर आप चाहते हैं अगर किसी बाहर इंस्टीट्यूट से लेना तो आप वहां से भी उनको हायर कर सकते हैं. नॉट currently employed by any institution, अगर वो कहीं काम नहीं भी कर रहे हैं तो भी आप उनको मतलब कर सकते हैं. नेक्स्ट इज बैकग्राउंड, मेडिकल साइंटिस्ट और सीनियर एकेडमिक में होना चाहिए, या तो वो इट शुड बी फ्रॉम, ही और शी शुड बी फ्रॉम मेडिकल बैकग्राउंड और दे शुड बी सीनियर एकेडमिक in the academics. Next is they conduct meetings. Final authority during decision making. So whenever there will be a project, whenever there will be a meeting for your research project, so chairperson will finalize the decision कि what your project is approved or not. Next is hang हो गया. So next one is member secretaries. So first was chairperson. Next is member secretary. So from within the institute, this member secretary should be from your institution. So usually a senior faculty member can be there, organizes the meetings. It will organize, he or she will organize the meeting, IRB meeting. So it will keep record keeping also. Next is communication with the investigators. It will make a contact with the investigators who are going to perform the research. नेक्स्ट इज मेडिकल और साइंटिफिक मेंबर्स. ये कितने होने चाहिए? ये 2 to 3 मेंबर्स होने चाहिए. दैट इज मेडिकल और साइंटिफिक मेंबर. बैकग्राउंड में इंक्लूड फ्रॉम द फार्माकोलॉजी, मेडिसिन, क्लिनिकल रिसर्च, evaluate scientific validity, review study design and methodology. means study design means के किस तरीके से आप रिसर्च अपनी करना चाहते हैं, जिसमें क्या होता है कोहॉर्ट स्टडीज आर देयर, क्रॉस सेक्शनल्स आर देयर. तो ये बहुत सारी टाइप्स ऑफ स्टडी होती हैं. ठीक है, तो इसमें से आपका स्टडी डिजाइन कौन सा है, आप किस तरीके से रिसर्च कंडक्ट करवा रहे हैं. एंड देन आफ्टर दैट मेथडोलॉजी क्या है, व्हाट आर द मेथड, बाय विच मेथड यू आर डूइंग द रिसर्च. नेक्स्ट इज clinician. Next, clinician means actively practicing physician. Clinical relevance should be there. Participant protection in clinical setting should be there. Next is legal expert. The fifth member is legal expert. He or she should be lawyer or a person knowledgeable in law, जिसको law का knowledge है, जिसको सारे rules and regulations पता है. ठीक है. Then after that reviews your consent form. वो आपका consent form check करेगा कि उसमें हर एक पैरामीटर according to in the favor of human subjects लिखा हुआ है कि नहीं लिखा हुआ. ठीक है. Next is ensure the compliance with legal and regulatory requirements. नेक्स्ट इज सेफ गार्ड्स पार्टिसिपेंट्स राइट. जो भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स का राइट है उसका ध्यान रखना कि दे आर रिसीविंग दैट राइट्स और नॉट. So types of IRB is institutional review board के types होते हैं, that is exempt review, minimal or no risk study, that is surveys or educational researches. So exempt means के this is the minimal or no risk study, मीन्स छोटे मोटे सर्वेज हो गए या फिर एजुकेशनल रिसर्च हो गए. एजुकेशनल मीन्स जो स्टूडेंट्स which are from any background, they want to perform any kind of research, so on that basis it will go with the exempt review, जिसमें कोई भी ज़्यादा रिस्क नहीं होता है पार्टिसिपेंट्स को या फिर किसी भी सब्जेक्ट को उसमें. नेक्स्ट इज expedited review, that is minimal risk and limited procedure. Next is full board review, more than minimal risk studies. अब now for the clinical trials हम क्या देखते हैं, full board review is there, means number of review members are sitting, ठीक है, and then they will perform that review. They will review your clinical trial research, what you want to perform, or a research which is performed on a vulnerable population, basically a specific type of population, that is geriatric, pediatrics, or pregnant women. Next is institutional review board. Under FDA regulations, an institutional review board uh, is a group that has been formally designed to review and monitor biomedical research involving human subjects. Again, the same thing. In accordance with FDA regulation, an IRB has the authority to approve, require modification, and to ensure the approved or disapproved research. This group serves an important role in the protection of rights and welfare of human research subjects. So this was all about IRB. So next is, they are again saying the same thing in this slide. Next is purpose of IRB review. Why the IRB review is there? Why it is necessary? What is the necessity of doing IRB review? So the purpose of IRB review is to ensure both in advance and by periodic review that appropriates step are taken in protect the right subjects. To accomplish this purpose, IRBs use a group process to review research protocols and related materials, that is informed consent, documents and investigators, brochures, to ensure protection of the rights and welfare of human subjects of research. So next comes with Schedule Y. So, Schedule Y refers to the Indian regulatory guidelines under the Drugs and Cosmetic Acts that governs the import, manufacture, and clinical trial of the new drug, ensuring ethical standards and patient safety by aligning with ICH GCP principle for drug development. So basically, these are the Indian regulatory guidelines under Drug and Cosmetic Acts that governs and that governs the import, manufacture, and the clinical trials of new drugs, ensuring their ethical standards, patient safety, and aligning with ICH GCP principle for drug development, data submission, sponsor, investigator responsibilities, and post marketing surveillance. It details the requirement for the trial phases 1 to 4, informed consent, ethics committee approval, adverse event reporting, and data integrity, functioning as a critical framework of pharmaceutical innovation and regulation in India. In 2019, many aspects of Schedule Y were subsumed or updated by the new Drug and Clinical Trial Rules 2019, which aimed to further harmonize Indian regulation with international standards like ICH GCP while streamlining approval timelines for drug already approved in major global markets, that is US, UK, and Japan. So key aspects of Schedule Y is clinical trials, set rules for conducting clinical trials, including data, requirements, phases, and participant protection. So, Schedule Y lays down requirement of clinical trials कि what are the requirements for the clinical trials you are performing. आपको क्या क्या requirement है, आपको क्या क्या चाहिए अपने research को कंडक्ट करवाने के लिए. नेक्स्ट इज एथिकल स्टैंडर्ड्स फॉर ह्यूमन स्टडीज. नेक्स्ट इज द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज ऑफ इन्वेस्टिगेटर्स, स्पॉन्सर्स एंड एथिक्स कमिटी. So data needed for marketing authorization of the new drug. So what is the objective of Schedule Y? So Schedule Y ensures the safety, right, and well-being of human subject. Same thing. It establishes the scientific validity of the clinical trials. It harmonizes Indian clinical trials practicing with the international standards. वो ये चेक करता है कि जो आपका इंडियन ट्रायल है वो इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड्स के अकॉर्डिंग चल रहा है कि नहीं चल रहा है, इसी जीसीबी गाइडलाइंस के अकॉर्डिंग चल रहा है कि नहीं चल रहा. Define clear regulatory pathways for a new drug approval to ensure high quality ethical clinical research in India. To streamline the approval of new medicines. So ethics committee requirements. So mandatory ethics committee approval. ठीक है, what is the ethics committee requirements कि ethics committee की जो proper requirements क्या है. So first is mandatory ethics committee approval, that is IRB और IEC से आपको approval चाहिए. Informed consent is compulsory. Then compliance with ICH GCP और and declaration of Helsinki should be there. ये तीन चीज़ें बहुत ही ज़्यादा important है अगर आप कोई प्रोजेक्ट या फिर क्लिनिकल ट्रायल कंडक्ट करवाना चाहते हैं. So with this, your first part is complete. So responsibilities defined in Schedule Y. This we will continue in the next session. I hope till here it is clear. So we'll see you in the next session. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Shikha. So I request each and every participant that 75% attendance is mandatory. I hope you are doing well. Thank you. Thank you from the City University, School of Pharmaceutical Sciences, City University, Ludhiana. As we have seen that there was a no query in the session. So Dr. Shikha, please stop sharing the screen, and we will continue this session in the next Saturday, because next Saturday we are taking a break due to examinations. After the next Saturday, there will be the session 7 will be organized. Thank you everybody for being waiting with us, for attaching with us. That's all for today. Once again, a warm wishes from the School of Pharmaceutical Sciences, City University, Ludhiana.